Good afternoon, everybody. Give it a minute to get everybody settled, and then we'll get started with our program for the day. Hope everyone's doing well. Hopefully it's be warming up soon enough where you are. I'm sick of this snow at this point. I don't know about the rest of you guys. It looks nice for about an hour. Then I'm done with the shoveling. All right, everybody. Great. So good afternoon. My name is Amy Vigiani. I am the Director of Transfer, Graduate, and Professional Admission here at the University of the Sciences. I want to thank all of you for taking some time out from your day to spend your lunch hour or so with us. And learn a little bit more about the University of the Sciences. I hope most of you know about us a little bit already due to your partnerships with us. I know some of our guests already have some partnerships with the school. And for some of our more seasoned counselors, you'll learn a little bit some of the new things that are going on at the university. I am always, I'm joined by Kendra King. Kendra, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Kendra King. I'm the Associate Director for Transfer and Graduate Admission. And I know a few of you guys in the room today, so it's nice to see you all again, some familiar faces, and nice to meet those of you who I have not yet had the pleasure of meeting in person. Yeah, thank you for being here.
Great. Thanks, Kendra. So I'm going to kick things off with some information about the school itself. And then we'll talk a little bit about, what's new at USciences, some of the transfer admission policies and things Kendra will review with y'all, as well as some of the fun things about USciences and why your students may find this to be a great fit for them. At 12:45, we have our special guest, Dr. Jiu Lee, who will be talking a little bit about biomedicine and how we're learning from COVID-19. We think this is a great, obviously topical presentation that I hope you all will learn something about today. And afterwards, we do have time for a Q&A session. Throughout the presentation, if you'd like to ask us any questions, you can put those in the chat box. We'll try to answer those as we go along. But if there's any overarching themes or questions, we could also cover them vocally at the end of the session. So let's get started. So the University of the Sciences is uniquely focused on the sciences and the health professions, and also emerging related disciplines. So even our business program is in healthcare business. So we really do have a very focused curriculum. And it really does lend itself well to building an amazing campus community where we offer experienced, collaborative, and specialized curriculum, obviously. Lots of lab work and hands-on in every one of our programs. Research is a huge emphasis here at the university, as well as those real-world experiences, especially in our health professions programs. Our faculty are all experts in their fields. We don't have TAs teaching or anything like that. So your faculty are the ones teaching all of the courses, and they really do lend their expertise to the content. And this really does lend itself to a foundation of career success. So we were founded 200 years ago this year. We are super excited about our 200th anniversary, our bicentennial. And we were originally founded as the Philadelphia College of Pharmacy. Some of you may remember that name, but we've evolved over the years, and we have now become USciences to really give it a more encompassing name of everything that we offer. Our alumni not only have made great contributions to pharmacy, but a lot of other fields that you can see here. And we're continuing to do that today, from Hires root beer extract to even discovering some yeast for beer. We have a beer, a brewing science program as well. There's a lot of cool things going on here at USciences. We also have, you may have read about this, and I think I sent a lot of you a letter last week talking a little bit about our potential merger with St. Joe's University. I just wanted to reiterate that this is merely a letter of intent at this time. We were looking for a partner to help develop our programs, well, not really develop, but to kind of enhance our programs and really put us forward to the next 200 years. And what we have found is that St. Joe's could be a great partner for this. So we've signed a letter of intent with them, which basically means we're having exclusive talks with SJU to merge potentially within the next 2 to 2 years. We should know better by May or June, after both boards of each university meet and really vet the process and see if this is going to be a good process to move forward with. All of our healthcare and science programs will remain. We have been assured that by St. Joe's. This is one of the main reasons that they're interested in us. So we do not foresee any of our accredited health professions programs or even our science programs evolving or changing too much with this merger. And we are confident that, our footprint in University City will also remain. I know that's a big question for a lot of students, but we really do have the state-of-the-art labs and everything to offer these programs. And that's one of the big reasons that St. Joe's was so keen on becoming a partner with us. One thing that you might want to really note for your students who are interested in enrolling this year is that any scholarships, the tuition, everything is guaranteed to remain the same, even if we merge with St. Joe's. So there will be no tuition increase. We're not going to change your scholarship. If a student is an athlete and they get an athletic scholarship, if for some reason they don't play with St. Joe's, then we will still honor all of those things. So please make sure you emphasize that. It is a very exciting time for us, and we're very much looking forward to see where everything goes. I also, for all of you, want to stress that our articulation agreements will still be honored. Again, because we have programs that St. Joe's does not. So we are confident that those articulation agreements will still be honored for students moving forward. Our undergraduate programs are listed here. So you can see we have a wide variety of bachelor's degree programs. The ones that are highlighted or bolded, I should say, are new programs in our online schools. So we also have USciences Online, which is a great new flexible way for students to work remotely and gain experience in a number of different new emerging areas, such as data science and analytics, health admin, and public health. The rest of the programs that you see that are not bolded are traditionally on-ground programs, although during COVID, many of them have been being taught in a hybrid format. So just so you know, are still bringing students to campus for labs in a cohort format throughout these past 2 semesters. In addition to these programs, these also can be coupled with specialization tracks. So for example, you could be a biology major in pre-dental track, or med, of course, popular, pre-optometry, and pre-vet. So all of these are ways for students to enhance their major and also receive an extra level of advising to get them ready for professional school if that's the direction they wish to take. In addition to that, we have our very popular professional programs, pharmacy, OT, and PT. These are all considered 0 to 6 programs, or what we call direct entry programs. These particular programs, students can start as freshmen and work straight through in 6 years and get their doctorate in those 3 programs, although there are transfer options. So know that students interested in PT, OT, or pharmacy, or even PA could transfer into the first, second, or even third year of these 6-year programs and have the potential to carry over some of their credit and have a guaranteed seat into the professional phase of the program. PA, we have a graduate school for the master's in physician assistant here on campus, but we also have an agreement with Salus University, who reserves some seats for our PA students as well. So the advantages of these direct entry type of programs are that your seat is reserved as long as students maintain their GPA. They will definitely be able to move right into the graduate phase of these programs. There's no reapplication process if you're in the direct entry program. And we also don't require a PCAT or a GRE. So instead of a student having to go get their bachelor's degree first, if they're a highly motivated student and they know that they want to do one of these professional programs, it's a great option. We'll save usually about a year and also, have a little bit more ability to graduate earlier and get out in the job market a lot sooner. We have minors and certificates to help, again, enhance the major. So pretty standard ones based on our majors, but there's some ones that stand out that I want to highlight. We have a communications minor, there's Spanish for healthcare professionals, there's social sciences minor, all of which are great ways for students to, enhance, as I said, the major that they're focusing in on. We also have some partnerships for academic opportunities, such as the University of the Arts. We know that students may enjoy science, but that's not their whole life. So we do allow students to take courses at the University of the Arts, which is only a few miles away from us, for no additional tuition. I believe they can take up to one class a semester through that program. In addition to that, we have our integrated graduate credit program, which is fantastic for transfer students who may come in with a lot of additional extraneous credit. They may have some room in their schedule where in their junior or senior year, they could start working on graduate courses. And that falls under their tuition schedule. So it would be at no extra cost as long as they're under 20 credits. Undergraduate research, if you were here in the fall, we had a great presentation about our research offerings, but know that research begins in all of our majors really right away. So many majors will start in their first year, but for transfer students, they'll definitely be starting when they start with us. Many students will have opportunities to become published either by themselves or usually with faculty at this level. But this does then in turn provide educational and professional development. Students who are able to go to regional and national conferences for their discipline have had opportunities to meet future employers and to really enhance what they are able to do. Now with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kendra, who's going to tell us a little bit about campus life. Thanks.
Sure. Thank you, Amy. So now we're going to move on to talking about campus life, sort of what it's like to be a USciences transfer student, as well as the application process. So how will your students apply and what can they expect after they are accepted to USciences? So really our campus, I think, is one of the best parts about our school. We are located in Philadelphia. We're in the University City neighborhood. So if you are familiar with where Drexel University and the University of Pennsylvania are, we are right in that little neighborhood of Philadelphia. Within University City, it's a very small sort of residential area called Spruce Hill. And it's a really nice place to be because while we are in Philly, we're kind of separated from the center city. So it's a little bit quieter. It's more of a traditional college campus feel. So it's very green. We have a park right next to our campus called Clark Park, which is a historical Philly park. So it does feel more suburban. Then in general, just the Philly area, I'm sure a lot of you know this already, but we are kind of the epicenter of the healthcare and pharmaceutical industry, as well as scientific research. So, our campus is surrounded by hospitals. So we've got Children's Hospital of Philadelphia right down the street from us. Students can walk there if they had any shadowing or clinical experience there. We have the VA hospital as well, which is right down the street too. So we are very close to lots of different hospitals in the area. And then of course, Philly is just a really fun city to be in. It's filled with history, lots of different cultural opportunities, sports, and it's just a great place to go to school. And then on our campus as well, our campus is typically, it's usually very busy. Of course, as I'm sure all of you are experiencing now too, with COVID, campus is a little quieter than it usually is. But we usually, there's always something going on. So we have over 60 clubs and organizations that our students can join, things ranging from student government, arts groups like a lit magazine, religious groups. We do have fraternity and sorority life as well. If your students are looking for like a more traditional sort of college experience. One group that we do like to highlight in these sessions is our transfer ambassadors group. So this is an offset of our just traditional student ambassadors. These students are trained to give campus tours. So for prospective transfer students who visit, our transfer ambassadors will give them campus tours. They can kind of talk about their experiences with them. And then they also help out with campus events. So just open houses, usually for transfer specific events. Like for instance, we have our transfer decision days every spring. This is where students can come and get the decision the same day. Our transfer ambassadors help out with that and just kind of connect with them and make them feel comfortable. So this is a good opportunity for transfer students to get involved on campus easily. They get paid for their time, and they also, it's a good way for them to kind of make friends and get connected. We are an NCAA Division II school. So we offer athletic grants, as Amy was saying earlier. If you have students who are interested in playing a sport intercollegiately, that's a great opportunity for them. We are, I think, best known for our women's basketball team. I know that they've been doing really great things over the past couple years. They went to the Sweet 16, and we hosted a tournament on our campus as well. So that was really exciting for us. And we also offer club sports and intramurals too. So this is just a sample of the kinds of sports that we offer. And then when we do merge, or if we do merge with St. Joe's, I know they are Division I. So that's going to be exciting for us too, to be in a different level. As far as living on campus, so we do have a lot of options for transfer students. We find that usually half of our transfer students that we bring in each year choose to live on campus in a residence hall. We have 2 halls that are specifically just for upperclassmen and transfer students. One of these is right on our campus, and it's more of a traditional feel. The other one is a couple blocks off campus, more of an apartment style residence hall. So that's definitely an option for transfer students, and housing is guaranteed for 2 years. Then we do have our newest building on our campus. You can see here on the top right is we call the Living and Learning Commons. We call it the LLC for short. This is a new residence hall that is intended just for first year students primarily. And as space allows though, if there is capacity to house upperclassmen or transfer students, we have seen that happen in the past. So it's not guaranteed, but it's not out of the question. But it's a really nice building. It's one of those new residence halls where they have a single room and then they share a private bathroom. So they don't have to do the communal bathroom with wearing the flip-flops to the bathroom, like I'm sure we all did when we went to college. So it's very nice. We also have something that's really cool is we have ATI physical therapy on the bottom floor of this building. So that's really cool for our, I think our PT students can get some experience doing shadowing and things like that. There's also study rooms and classrooms in the LLC. So it's a really multi-purpose building, and it's very, very nice. And then as far as campus security goes and public safety, so that's something that we take really seriously, being an urban campus. So of course we are in Philadelphia. Like I said before, we aren't in like downtown center city, but we do have the benefit of having a few different levels of public safety. So we have, of course, our public safety security officers who are on campus 24/7. They're super friendly. They knew my name like within the first week of me working at USciences. And then we also do have the walking escort service. So if your students do have class at night and they have to walk to their car or something, they can just call the public safety number and one of the security guards will come meet them at the classroom and walk them wherever they need to go. And then we also have the Philadelphia Police and the University City District Police that are patrolling this area. So we've got a few different layers here. We've got the text alert system, which is really helpful. We definitely encourage all of our students to sign up for that when they start. And then something else that's nice is we offer a free shuttle service with University of Pennsylvania. So because we're so close to Penn, we're maybe a 5-minute walk from Penn's campus. We do share their Penn Transit shuttle service. So USciences students can use that for free, just showing their USciences ID. And we do like to touch on tuition in these presentations. As Amy said before, the tuition is something that we are going to be honoring for our students who are beginning this fall. Something that you may have heard about with USciences is that a few years ago, we reset our tuition. So we are a private institution. We lowered and fixed our tuition a couple years ago. So you can see here, if you're looking at the traditional undergraduate programs and the undergraduate years of the professional programs, tuition is $27,500, and that is fixed for all of the years that they're in the undergraduate years. Your students don't have to worry about tuition increasing year over year like they do at most other schools. And then we do the same thing for the professional programs as well. So of course, the tuition is going to go up a little bit for professional programs because you're at a higher level and you're using more advanced equipment and labs and things like that. But the tuition is also fixed for those years. So you're going to know, or your students are going to know the cost of their degree from day one until the day that they graduate. And that makes us different. We're proud to offer the fixed and transparent price schedule. We're not, going to surprise your students with any tuition and fee increases. That does amount to thousands of dollars in savings over the course of their education. And the tuition reset did make us one of the most affordable schools in the Philadelphia region. So we're very proud to be able to offer your students that. And then in addition to that, we do offer some scholarship opportunities, additional funding as well. The main scholarship your students can expect is the Merit Scholarship. This is automatic. They don't have to apply for this. It's just based on their transfer application. And it's based on college GPA. So if your students have a 3.0 or higher, or cumulative GPA, that's when we start to offer the Merit Scholarships. These range for this upcoming year from $2,500 to $5,000 per year. They're renewable for every undergraduate year. And then we also offer an additional scholarship, the Phi Theta Kappa Scholarship. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with Phi Theta Kappa, PTK, the Honor Society. So if your students are a member of PTK, they will automatically receive a $2,000 scholarship in addition to their Merit Scholarship. And then we have a few other opportunities here as well. Legacy, if their immediate family member graduated from USciences, if their sibling currently goes to USciences, or like we mentioned before, the athletic grants as well. Okay, and then I did want to spend the majority of the time talking about the admissions process, since that's what you're going to be working with your students on. The first thing that we like to talk about is our transfer partnership. So I know we have a lot of people in the room here today who are members of our transfer partnership. So we've developed these over the past few years. We have 8 really strong partnerships with local community colleges. And basically what this means is it just makes the process easier for your students. It simplifies the transfer process and kind of takes the guesswork out of what they would have to take within their associate's degree in order to transfer to USciences as a third-year student and really maximize their transfer credits and not have to worry about losing credit during the transfer process. We do have transfer advising guides for each one of these schools, and also we break it down by program as well. And I think we actually do have time. I might do a quick break and just share my screen to show you, if I can figure out how to do this, to show you what the transfer advising guides look like. So if you bear with me really quickly, I'm going to stop my share and then go to our website. So all of these are available on USciences website. They're probably on your website as well if you are a partner with us. Let's see. Now, they're called program to program agreements. So while they might not be for every one of our programs, they are for most of them. So let's share my screen again. Okay. All right, so I know we have a lot of people in the room today from Montco. So we'll just pick Montco as an example. But basically, if you have a student who is interested in one of our programs, you can kind of guide them to this website. So let's say they want to come in to our neuroscience program, for example. So if they're in the Associates of Life Science at Montco, we have developed this transfer advising guide. So on the left-hand side here, these would be all the Montco courses that they would be able to take within their degree and how they transfer into USciences on the right-hand side. So, this tells them, because there's different levels of bio at each school, so they will know, this is the correct biology to take. We give them all the different options for, electives and things like that. So it just makes it a whole lot easier for them to know exactly what to take. And then, they can work with you to kind of figure out how to register for those courses. So if you do have questions about the articulation agreements, the website is where you can find that, and I can just pop this link into the chat for you that you can see. You can look up your school's articulation agreement. 1 second. Okay. Something else that we do with the articulation agreements is we like to give your students kind of special opportunities to visit USciences. So usually in a non-pandemic time, we would be having this event on our campus, and we would also have different events for students on our campus as well, which I'm going to mention in a little bit. But so just, specialized campus visit opportunities and application assistance throughout. So if your student does want to attend USciences and they, and they are a member of the partner school, they would want to fill out the letter of intent, which your advising office should have, which just lets us know that the student is interested in transferring. It's not something that's required, but it is recommended so that we can reach out to your students and kind of make contact with them and make sure that they're aware of all of the steps that they would need to take. And then for students who are at the partner schools or non-partner schools, the application process is the same. So they're going to apply using Common Application for Transfer. So just commonapp.org. It is free to apply for USciences, so there's no application fee. Students can apply for the fall or the spring semester, and then we operate on a rolling admission basis. So as soon as we have all of the students' documents in and the application, that's when we start to review. They can typically expect an admissions decision within 4 to 6 weeks from the time that their application is completed. And then what are we looking for in a transfer applicant? So the criteria, the basic criteria is listed here. So, the first thing would be their application. We do require all of their official college transcripts. And what we're looking for, we really want to make sure that your students are prepared to be successful in a, like a lab science heavy curriculum. So we're going to look at their coursework, make sure that they've taken relevant transferable courses. So for instance, if we have a physics applicant, we want to see that they've taken some physics courses, some math courses. We want to make sure that they're prepared. We also do look at the GPA. So we have typically a 2.5 is the baseline for most bachelor's degree programs to be considered for application for evaluation. For the biological sciences programs, the GPA would be 2.7 or above, and for pharmacy. And then for the other professional programs, it would be a 3.0 or above. And then for most of the bachelor's programs, that's really all we need. For the professional programs, your students do need to submit a letter of recommendation and an essay or a professional goal statement. And as far as the high school transcript and SAT scores, this is only required for students who are transferring early on. So if they have fewer than a year typically of college experience, that's when we would want to see that high school information, just to give us a little bit more background about what kind of student they are. And then the timeline. So some important deadlines for your students to keep in mind. So in August, August 1st is when the Common Application opens each year for the next cycle. So for the spring semester, we're looking for applications to be submitted by November 1st. And then for this fall, it would be a July deadline. So this is kind of we don't recommend students wait this long. It's kind of like a more last minute application, but we do want to give them that amount of time because we know a lot of students do want to wait until their spring semester is over and all those grades are finalized and their GPA is the highest that it can be before they apply to USciences. And then something else that we're really proud of is the support that we give our transfer students. So your students can expect a lot of one-on-one attention when they arrive, actually even before they enroll. So from the time that your students make their enrollment deposit to commit to USciences, they are assigned a faculty member who's going to be their advisor within their program. So we do have an advising center with professional academic advisors, but we know how important the faculty contact is for transfer students to have. So they have that faculty advisor who's going to be with them from day one until the day they graduate. They're going to help them register for classes for their first semester and just kind of map out the rest of their time, make sure they're graduating on time and kind of working out all of those details with them as far as their schedule goes. We have a transfer orientation each semester, so both in the spring and the fall for new students. And this past spring, we did something different. We did a transfer welcome week. So it was a series of virtual events. Again, things are a little bit different. We would usually have your students on campus, for orientation, but it actually worked out pretty well this year. So we did a couple different Zoom sessions, and it's something that we're going to be revisiting in the fall. And then typically as well, we would have a transfer student meet and greet in the first couple weeks of class, where the advising center and all the faculty advisors and new transfer students would get together for like a little pizza party. So hopefully we can do it this fall. Hopefully we'll be on campus. Maybe we'll do it outside. But at this point, things are virtual right now. And then, like I mentioned before, the transfer ambassador. So this is actually turning out to be a really nice group for new students to kind of make new connections and get connected and feel comfortable with campus. So, why USciences? We went over a lot of information today, and I hope that you all learned a lot about USciences, information that you hadn't learned about before. But the first thing, our value is proven. We have no annual tuition and fee increases. Our tuition is transparent. The fixed price schedule makes it easy for your students to kind of figure out how much they're going to be spending on their education. And we are one of the most affordable schools in the region for this reason. As Amy mentioned before, we are celebrating our 200th anniversary this year, and we are celebrating it today. Later on today, we're having our Founders Day ceremony, which is going to be held virtually. We are, and this is when we, each year we honor different members of our campus community. Today, our guest speaker is going to be the CEO of Merck. So that's going to be really exciting. I know we're all looking forward to hearing from him and kind of, especially, I would hope that he has some interesting remarks in the wake of the pandemic situation. So we'll be hearing from him. If you would like to, you are free to register for this. Like I said, it's going to be virtual. So I can put the link to, I don't have the link here, but after I get out of the screen, I can put the link, or Amy can put it in, thank you, for you to register, so that if you are interested in hearing from him, it should be a pretty interesting talk. Our location is, like I said, one of the best things about our school. So we're in University City. We're surrounded by over 100 hospitals, 15 major health systems. We've got CHOP right down the street. Medical schools surrounding us, hundreds of core life science companies, and lots of pharmaceutical firms are right in our backyard. Really great place to be if you're a student who wants to go into the sciences or healthcare. Prove it in the classroom. We have an 11-to-1 student to faculty ratio. And you really do feel this when you're on campus. It's really incredible that the faculty know the students by name. They know, like what clubs they're in and what they're up to. And it does really make for a nice environment. If you have a student who really does want that more intimate one-on-one environment, this would be a good place for them to consider. As Amy mentioned before, our faculty are all experts in their field. So your students are going to be taught by people who really know their stuff. We also do pride ourselves on the integrated graduate credit program that we have. So if your students know that they want to get their master's or PhD, they can start right away. We can work those master's credits into their undergraduate schedule. And that would cut down on the cost and the time for them to get their advanced degree. Proven in the lab. We have over 100 labs on our campus. So while we are a smaller institution, we've got about 2,500 students on our campus total. We have over 100 labs. And so there's plenty of opportunities for your students to get involved in research, working one-on-one with faculty members. And some of our students even get published on their own novel research by the time they finish and graduate. So something that is very impressive, and that not every college student can say that. Proven careers. We are really preparing students for some of the best healthcare jobs in the US. So I think Recently, it came out that physician assistant was the #1 job in the country right now. So, PA, pharmacist, physical therapist, occupational therapist, these are some of the best jobs your students can get. And we are helping them prepare for that. Proven investment, we are #1 in Pennsylvania and second out of nearly 600 selective private schools for upward economic mobility. So your students are going to be moving up in the world, making more money, than the previous generation. And we're #1 for social mobility as well, compared to 42 other Philadelphia area institutions. So we really do, we're kind of making a name for ourselves nationally as well as regionally. And then we come in top 10 in the US for return on investment. So this is 40 years after enrollment among private four-year schools. So our students really do very well for themselves. And they're not just getting jobs, they're getting really great, well-paying jobs. And our students really are proven everywhere. So proven everywhere is our hashtag. You've probably seen it on, buses and billboards around the city. If you follow us on social media, there's always fun, student profiles on there, alumni profiles and whatnot. So you can see what our students are up to. We recently had a student featured from Bucks County Community College. She was a business major and she kind of did an Instagram takeover. So she kind of showed what her day was like. She got a job. I forget where she's working, but it's some kind of drug company or pharmaceutical firm. So that's always exciting to see our transfer students featured on our social media. And then, as I mentioned before, so we do have special events just for our partner school students. So we have one coming up. It is in just a couple weeks in March, and I don't have the date on here, but I should have the date on here. I think it's the second week of March, and it's kind of just like this. It's a Zoom session. Again, it would normally be on our campus, but it's a really great opportunity for your students to learn more about who we are, kind of how to apply, how to get into our school. And then we are going to have a faculty member in our kinesiology department giving a presentation about exercise science and psychology. So, kind of giving their expert take on sort of how students can stay active right now, even though it might be harder, they may not be able to have gym access or anything like that. So kind of giving tips on how to get outside and get active and how that's beneficial for our brains and our health. Students can also take a virtual tour of our website, of our campus, which is on our website, and kind of just connect with faculty and students and everything like that. So you'll probably be receiving an invitation from me in the next few weeks, inviting your students to this event as well. Okay. And then in a few minutes, we're going to have Dr. Ziyu Lee present to you. He's the director of our undergraduate pharmacology and toxicology program. And he's also a professor of pharmaceutical sciences at USciences. And I see him here. Hi, Dr. Lee. Thank you for being here. And then after that presentation, we'll have our Q&A session at the end where we can kind of talk about any questions that you all have. So if you wanted to go ahead and share your screen, Dr. Lee, I can stop sharing mine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to start my presentation. I'm Dr. Ziyu Lee and faculty member in the Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences. And I'm also the program director, undergraduate program director in the Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences. My research is on biopharmaceutics. And today I'm happy that the organizer gave me this opportunity. Definitely, thank you for attending the presentation. The world is still suffering from COVID-19. And yesterday, the United States has reached more than 500,000 deaths due to COVID-19. To fight against this pandemic, the human being have utilized all accumulated knowledge and skill in all fields related to medicine, such as virology, immunology, in the vaccine development, pharmacology, toxicology, pharmaceutical sciences, and later we still need to use psychology and behavioral sciences, and also many healthcare professions are involved in the fight against COVID-19. And they are component of biomedicine, or in fancy word, pan medicine. It means all medicine together, we can fight against pandemic. University of Sciences is an institute focusing on education in healthcare profession and biomedical sciences. USciences provide this training or bachelor degree in the fields such as pharmacology, pharmaceutical sciences, pharmaceutical chemistry, biomedical sciences, biochemistry, microbiology, and neurosciences. Also, USciences train healthcare professions as pharmacy, physician assistant, doctor of physical therapy, doctor of occupational therapy. Today, I'm going to use COVID-19 as an example to briefly introduce that is a science behind COVID-19 diagnosis, treatment, and therapy. And during my presentation, you may just ask any question related to my presentation. Okay, first, COVID-19 is caused by a virus named severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2. What type of virus? It's RNA virus. Due to its RNA virus, during RNA replication, there's no the good proofreading function. So this make RNA virus prone to mutation. This is why there's a lot of mutant of COVID virus come out. This is picture of COVID, pretty picture of virus. And this is a famous, the red one is a famous S protein. I think the blue one is S protein receptor on human cells called ACE2. It's enzymes related to regulate hypertension. Okay, this linked to the science called microbiology. Everyone knows microbiology. Microbiology is a science to study microscopic organisms such as bacteria, virus, archaea, fungi, and parasite. Virology is a subdivision of microbiology. When we think about the virology for human, and we think about are they DNA virus or RNA virus? COVID-19 virus is a RNA virus. Okay. So far, there's not many effective drug to fight against any viral infection. Not many, only few. Okay, what's different between bacteria and the virus? When I teach in the class, I tell students, bacteria are extracellular pathogen, and like that is RV trailer, and this RV, you can survive anywhere, don't need a host. How about the virus? Virus like a hacker need with a backpack with essential that is supplies. If the hiker need hot meal and need good sleep, they need host. So it's different between bacteria and the virus. Virus is kind of intracellular pathogen because it need host to survive. Okay, we know that our COVID-19 is a kind of RNA virus. Now, what's the genome of RNA virus? COVID-19 virus is composed of 30 base pair of RNA, 30,000 base pair of RNA. This RNA encode essential protein for the function of COVID-19 virus, such as the envelope protein, membrane protein, that is cover the RNA genome genetic material, or that is spike protein, this is famous S protein. This protein contribute to the binding of virus to human cells. So how can we get the genome of RNA virus? we use technology called DNA sequencing and bioinformatics. This also relates to another science called genetics, genomics, or bioinformatics. They are related to DNA sequencing and data mining to find the meaning of data or meaning of DNA sequence. Okay, talking about the DNA sequencing, about 20 years ago, we finished human genome sequencing. It took about 15 years, worldwide collaboration, and $1 billion to finish one human genome sequencing. That time, we used so-called Sanger's sequencing. It's called first generation sequencing. When I was a student, I run this gel. It took me a whole day, only finished about 300 base pair sequencing. If we use a machine, we can finish 800 base pair per reaction. Guess how many BP we can sequence per day? We have 23 chromosomes. We have total about 3 billion DNA base pair. Can we finish sequencing 3 billion DNA in one day? How much does it cost? This is called next generation sequencing, also second generation sequencing. We can finish sequencing 3 billion base pair in one day with a cost of lower than $1,000. What does it mean? In the future, I think every insurance company, health insurance company, will use our DNA to help for the prevention and help for diagnosis or prognosis. Now, we get the genome of COVID-19 virus. How can we use genome for diagnosis? We can design sequence to target a COVID for specific fragment of COVID-19 virus. We can do RT-PCR. This is real-time PCR. PCR is a technology can amplify specific fragment of DNA. Or we can, this is really expensive instrument, need trained technician to run the instrument and interpret data. So this is why it takes about 1 to 3 days to get COVID-19 test result. This is accurate, but not convenience. This machine is called ID Now. I think remember last year, almost 1 year ago, President Trump showed the small instrument. This is a low temperature PCR. It's portable, but it's not as accurate as RT-PCR. Since we know S protein is the major component or critical component of COVID-19, so we can develop antibody to test COVID-19 infection. So we can also use antibody test. This is similar to the pregnant test we use at home. So we can use DNA test or use a protein test based on the genome information. RT-PCR is accurate, but take time and cannot perform at home. When we do other tests, we want the test results as soon as possible. We want to do the test at home or in a doctor's office. This brings to another essential area of medicine and hot area of medicine or developing area of medicine called point of care testing. We do glucose test, we monitor blood pressure, we monitor heartbeat, and we also do other testing. So we can do this at home or in doctor's office. They're called point of care testing. We need instrument, portable instrument, apparatus, or just simple chemical or biochemical reactions. They are called molecular diagnostic. They're growing area of medicine and really helpful. Okay, Now we can diagnose COVID-19. Next, many people infected by COVID-19 virus, but most are fine. They only develop flu-like symptom, but few will develop severe symptom, need to be hospitalized. So what's the pathophysiology basis for COVID-19 infection or severe case of COVID-19? One of the reasons, not all reason, and one of the major reasons due to cytokine storm. Cytokine storm is generated due to a overreactive immune system, which lead to increased inflammation throughout the body. It's a whole body system reaction. So what is a cytokine storm? When virus infect normal cell, and normal cell, they'll secrete cytokine to ask for help of other immune cells, such as macrophage or neutrophils or other that is immune cells. Same as when are in dangers, and we will call 911. It's good. But when are in dangers, we overreact. I call 911, my neighbor call 911, everyone surrounding me call 911, will paralyze the police department. Same thing, when our bodies, the cell, overreact, secrete huge amount of cytokine, such as TNF-alpha, interleukin-1, interleukin-6, many that is a pro-inflammatory cytokine, they will trigger systemic inflammation. What this means? This cytokine will cause dilation of blood vessel. What is dilation of blood vessel? The junction of blood vessel has been enlarged. When junction of blood vessel enlarged, what happened to the blood? Will diffuse into tissue. If the blood diffused into the tissue, what happened to the total blood in circulation system? Decreased. So what happened to the blood pressure? Going down. If the blood pressure going down, what's the damage? Tissue failure and damage to the brain, cause systemic reaction. So that is a main factor related to severe symptom of COVID-19 is due to cytokine storm, cause systemic reaction. Okay, we know this is related to another that is a critical field of biomedicine called immunology. Based on our immunology, we need to control the inflammation. Actually, it's true, since SARS, that is happened in China in the year 2003, and doctors and scientists use a tremendous amount of steroid hormone to control inflammation. Not helpful. Why? In addition to control inflammation, we still need to keep proper level of immunity to allow our body to fight against viral infection. So after that is several months of practice, doctors find out, okay, dexamethasone is maybe a good candidate to control inflammation. This is after many trial and say, okay, this is a good drug to control inflammation and keep proper level of immunity. Now we can control the inflammation caused by COVID-19 virus. Next step, how can we kill COVID-19 virus? We can use immunotherapy. I think you have heard many about the immunotherapy in cancer treatment. We use antibody to treat cancer. We use cells, T cells, this is immune cells, to treat cancer. Of course, we can use antibody to kill COVID-19 virus. How it happen? It's easy, straightforward design. COVID-19, what's essential for COVID-19? S protein. How to neutralize S protein? We can use antibody. One antibody don't work, let's use two. Two antibodies don't work, let's use three. Yes, that is a strategy. We design cocktail of antibody to neutralize COVID-19 virus. This is a drug produced by Regeneron, approved by FDA for emergency use. This cocktail of antibody to neutralize COVID-19 virus. Pay attention here, this is emergency use. It's prevent development of severe symptom or recover from severe symptom. It's not quite effective drug to general infection. Okay, now we can use antibody to prevent that severe COVID-19 syndrome. Can we develop antiviral drug to really kill COVID-19 virus? We tried. You have heard a drug called remdesivir, and this is small molecule inhibitor against COVID-19 virus RNA polymerase. I just mentioned COVID-19 virus is RNA virus. So genetic material is RNA. RNA need to be replicated, need RNA polymerase. This is kind of enzyme to can elongate RNA. So if we can inhibit RNA polymerase, we can inhibit replication of SARS, this is the COVID-19 virus. So remdesivir is one of the drug selected to inhibit the function of RNA polymerase. So remdesivir is also approved by FDA for emergency use. You see, I gave question marks here because the real, that is efficacy of remdesivir is still question mark. Different depends on different clinical trial. Some clinical trial indicates, okay, worked very well. Some clinical trial is no effect. So this drug is approved for emergency use. Based on this fact, and we can think about the science related to them, is medicinal chemistry. Medicinal chemistry is a science to develop small molecule drugs to target, to treat for disease treatment. To test the efficacy of drug, we also need pharmacology and toxicology. Okay, so far we don't have effective drug to fight against COVID-19. I think the effective way to prevent this virus is vaccination. How do we define vaccine? Let's go back to the genome. Based on the genome, the essential protein is S protein. So we can use the S protein as antigen. And also we can use the whole virus as antigen. Actually, there are two main approaches to use as antigen to generate COVID-19 vaccine. We also can use, based on this antigen, we can develop inactivated virus vaccine. We use the killed virus as antigen and to vaccinate people. We can use S protein alone as antigen. Also, we can use DNA that encode S protein to deliver the protein, or use virus. This time is adenovirus to encode S protein and serve as vaccine. Or everyone know mRNA, messenger RNA, directly encode S protein to vaccinate people. So this is current approach to develop COVID-19 vaccine. We can use inactive virus, S protein, DNA vaccine, virus-related vaccine, or mRNA vaccine. This table summarizes current approach and advantage and disadvantage of different vaccine approach. I will not go to detail in just the same as, okay, we can use RNA as vaccine to do the work. We can use DNA to just DNA will be created into mRNA and then generate protein as antigen, or we can use inactivated, or we can use subunit, or use viral as vector. So we have major approaches to develop vaccine. Since so far, 2 vaccine has been approved by FDA. 3 vaccine has been approved by British. 2 vaccine approved by FDA are mRNA vaccine. So this is how to make mRNA vaccine. First, we need to generate mRNA that encode as protein. Okay, that's mRNA. We cannot inject mRNA, right? And how mRNA get into the cell, we need to pack mRNA or decorate the mRNA, make it viral-like. How to do it? We use lipid. We use lipid to encapsulate mRNA. And also to make the lipid rigid, we added cholesterol. Or mRNA is a negative charged molecule. We need a positive charged lipid to make close contact with mRNA. And also we need to use PEG, some polymer, to decorate the surface, because this is too lipophilic, means like oil will stick to everywhere. So we use a PEG to modify it, make it again kind of that is can dissolved or easy to dissolve in water. So we make mRNA viral-like. And this is a general structure of mRNA vaccine. This PEG may generate trouble for certain population because certain population already generate antibody against PEG for their treatment of different type of disease. For example, long-lasting interferon, they use PEG. So anyway, this is a structure of viral mRNA vaccine. And after my talk, if you're interested, you can ask question. I can do my best to answer. Okay. During vaccine development, everyone knows clinical trial now. And I think before vaccine development, no one, okay, what's the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3? Now everyone know, okay, they're in the phase 3 now. They're in the phase 2, the FDA approval application now. Generally, it takes about more than 10 years to develop a vaccine. Now, scientists collaborate in all fields, and also due to the accumulated knowledge, and we develop vaccine in 6 to 9 months window. This is magic. And also there's a lot of unknown question not be answered by short term of clinical trial, because usually clinical trial run about 10 years window. We know long-term toxicity. So far, long-term toxicity is hard to answer for this short period of time. But anyway, clinical trial relate to another field of biomedicine called clinical pharmacology. Clinical pharmacology is to evaluate efficacy and toxicity for clinical trial, or coordinate clinical trial, or the analyze data from clinical trial. So now bring us to my field, is the pharmacology and toxicology. And to give just a general, what is a pharmacology and toxicology? Pharmacology is a science to study how drug react on human body. Drug act on human body can be function at a different level, could be chemistry level, could be biochemistry level, this protein, could be genetic level, this DNA, cellular level, or physiology level. Combined together, we need to understand how drug act on human body, how human body react to the drug. So we pharmacology do work on drug discovery, development, evaluation, the efficacy, and toxicology focus on the safety part of the drug. So this It's just a general description of pharmacology, toxicology. Pharmacology, toxicology study how drug work, how we take drug, how we take food, how drug distribute, how food distribute, and how drug act on certain organ, how which nutrient go to brain or go to your blood, and how the drug is eliminated, how food is eliminated. Similar. Pharmacology study drugs, toxicology study chemical or poison. In addition to pharmacology, toxicology, we know that bottleneck for COVID-19 vaccine is production. This relates to another field of biomedical science called pharmaceutics or biopharmaceutics. For vaccine production related to biopharmaceutics, we need bioreactor, same as a fermentation, to produce this virus or produce DNA, RNA, and need to pack them. So biopharmaceutics is science related to the drug production, formulation. We need to enhance stability of drug, need to stack the drug correctly. Stability. Now everyone, okay, here is a Pfizer virus, a Pfizer vaccine, need -80 storage temperature. Here is Moderna vaccine, need -20. So scientists need to formulate it and need to study how stable this vaccine how long can be stored. After vaccination, and in the world has seen hope to fight against COVID-19. In Israel, it's estimated more than 80% has been vaccinated for the first dose. Now question, if we can control COVID-19, can we go back to peaceful life when the pandemic is over? Unlikely, because most people suffer flu-like symptom. Think it's temporary. When the virus is gone, when infection gone, the symptom will disappear. However, for COVID-19, many symptoms may last longer than we thought. For example, impaired ability of taste, impaired ability of smell. Some patients cannot recover their smell even after 10 months. And some patients still suffer nerve pain or that is a muscle pain. And also, we don't mention many related to central nervous system symptoms. So many symptoms may last very long than we experienced based on our experience for flu symptom. In addition to that, psychological issue will be long-term issue after COVID-19. This is a survey in the United States. You can see in December 2020, 42% report that is psychological, mental stress related to COVID-19. So even virus disappear, consequence will last much longer. Okay, just brief summarize, COVID-19 need the accumulation of knowledge in many fields, include virology, immunology, pharmacology, toxicology, and pharmaceutical sciences. And our USciences is an institution focused on education in biomedical sciences and healthcare professions. And here, I like to take this advantage to introduce school pharmacy and pharmacology and toxicology pharmaceutical science program. You know, I think you have heard many times of PCP. PCP really is ideal location in the world. I don't know, not only in the United States, in the world, to learn drug-related science and practice. PCP is surrounded by world-level pharmaceutical companies. You name it, and we may find just this outside big Philadelphia. GSK, Johnson & Johnson, Teva, AstraZeneca. This is only about half hour to 1 hour drive away. In any school pharmacy, there's at least two departments. One is pharmacy practice, one is pharmaceutical sciences. And I always joke, for professors or in the Department of Pharmaceutical Science, we're on the dark side of school pharmacy. And this is due to pharmacy practice train pharmacists. Pharmacists are healthcare professionals. They need to follow laws, rules, regulations. Otherwise, they cannot fulfill their mission and they'll be sued. But as pharmaceutical scientists, our goal is to find a new drug discovery and development. So we train our students from day one to think about new drugs, new applications, new rules, and have a chance to open new enterprises. Pharmacology, toxicology, and pharmaceutical sciences are ideal major for students who are interested in biomedical sciences because we train these students solid biomedical sciences courses with focus on drugs and medication. They are 4-year undergraduate major. After 4 years, for some students, if they are interested in health care, and they can join medical school, dental school, pharmacy school, because they are easy to get into this type of school because pharmacology is a foundation of medicine. For some students, they want to join industry and for the pharmaceutical industry. For some students, they want to go to be scientists, basic science such as immunology, virology, I just mentioned microbiology. And so some students, there has good personality and the social skill, communication skill, they want to do business because health care account for 15% of GDP of the United States. We need the money to develop new drug. We sell drugs for money to continue drug development. And pharmacology, toxicology, pharmaceutical sciences, they are all unique in the University of Sciences. In the United States, only 6 universities offer undergraduate pharmacology program. Only 10 universities offer undergraduate toxicology program. Only 2 to 3 universities offer pharmacology/toxicology. In the whole United States, only about 25 universities offer undergraduate pharmaceutical sciences program. So they are really unique and they can help students to get a job. What's the training in our program? Our training focused on lab. It's heavily lab-based training, and we train students in do variety of experiment. Due to time, I just give the number here. For pharmacology, it's about 14 laboratory-based courses. Students need about 130 credit to graduate. Among 130, 15% are lab-based courses. So with this lab trainings, students are rather much easier than other peers to find a job. Okay, just briefly summarize what students can do after they get BS from pharmacology, toxicology, and pharmaceutical sciences. And they can join conventional industry or jobs related to these 2 programs, such as pharmaceutical industry, academia research, and the venture capital related to biotechnology, FDA, something like this. Okay, students join pharmaceutical company or healthcare. Knowledge they learn from this 2 programs also can be applied to nutrient supplement industry. I take vitamin D3 and vitamin C to help my immune system. And before we take vitamin, and we need to formulate it. And before we really just take it, we need to test the toxicity. We don't want to combine everything and take it into the body. Cosmetic sciences. In cosmetic science, the cosmetic product need formulation. For example, shampoo, cream, we need formulation. This is knowledge similar to pharmaceutical sciences. We don't want to apply anything on our body, cream, and especially lotion, especially eye drop. We need to do toxicology study. Food industry, safety formulation, household chemical need formulation, also need safety study. In addition to that, toxicology also relate to clinical toxicology, environmental toxicology, and for many kids, they are attracted by CSI, this CSI, that is forensic toxicology. Anyway, in addition to conventional job or career related to pharmaceutical sciences, there's many other fields related to pharmaceutical sciences and pharmacology, toxicology. Thank you for your attention. Now I can take a few questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lee. That was great. Definitely learned a lot about COVID, and I'm definitely going to start taking vitamin C. And what was it, D3?
Yeah, D3.
Definitely start taking that now too. So we can open it up to questions now. If anyone has any questions that they feel comfortable, you can unmute yourselves and ask a question live. You can feel free to type in your question to the chat box. If you have any questions about Dr. Lee's presentation or about USciences in general, you can feel free to do that. I think that, so something you had mentioned, Dr. Lee, you had mentioned forensic. This would be our pharmaceutical sciences and pharm tox programs. Would you recommend they might be good programs for a student who's looking to go into forensic science or a career in forensics?
Yes, yeah, so far we don't have the forensic minor or program, but student can join forensic master program. Once that is a toxicology degree or pharmacology degree, or even analytical chemistry, especially analytical chemistry in the medicine, biomedical related, they can join forensic that is master or graduate program. And the job opportunity are good, And so once they get a certificate or license and almost that is a secured job.
Thank you.
And you can see now is a really good time to learn biomedical sciences. I think after COVID-19, the biomedical science field still need to continue for 5-10 years. And we will conquer COVID-19, but after conquer COVID-19, we are sure we will see another challenge. We don't know what kind of virus, what kind of issues will challenge us. So that is, we need to continue to develop drugs, continue to promote that is good policy, continue to just be aware of this kind of infection disease.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a question, just a comment. Really interesting presentation. I was over here like, I could go to USciences. I'd like to sit in this class. So thank you. Yeah, it was really informative.
And also you can see my background. This is our teaching lab. Kind of, it's not real, but kind of the teaching lab. This in USciences, we offer research opportunity to undergraduate research opportunity. And it's really hard to offer this in teaching university, especially big state university, and there are too many students. And also for research university, high rank research university, they only pick few really talented student undergraduate do research. But in USciences, we offer undergraduate student training. And so that is why our students are much easier to find a job than peers.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Erica.
We did have a question about articulation agreements and some new ones. I do want to let everyone know we do have a new provost and some new leadership for articulation agreements. So we're not officially pulling the trigger on any new agreements at this time, but I will be meeting with leadership over the next few weeks to see the direction we'll be moving in with new agreements. So certainly, Rob, to your point, biotechnology could be of interest. We'd have to have our faculty vet that program and curriculum. So, we are, still looking for, opportunities, but we have not developed any new programs just yet, as we are identifying some leadership to help drive those. Because as I'm sure you all know, this is a multi-year process sometimes with getting these articulations off the ground, given the various individuals that have to be involved. So we will certainly reach out to you and Monco if that is something we'd like to move forward with. And for any of our other guests, if you would like to speak further about articulation, you should contact me directly. My email's on the box there, and I can, relay that information or talk about what opportunities we may have. Any other questions from anyone today? Well, Kendra, did you have anything further you wanted to cover with this group?
Let's see. I think.
Oh, I can unmute you, Rob. Hold on one second.
Looks like we did have another question here.
Okay. You should.
I don't know if we can unmute.
I think he's all good. Rob, I think you're good. Rob, we're not hearing you. I'm not sure.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there he is. I have two Rob Hellers.
Some people had a hard time logging in, so I shared my login. So there's many of me, I think. I think they may have accidentally raised their hand. I don't know who that Rob is, but you answered my question.
All right. Rob Heller, number 2, if you have a question, let me know. Or 3.
Yeah, oh, lots of you. But yeah, I think yeah. So if there's no other question, I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in today. This is something that we do each semester. We like to kind of keep in touch with our community college partners and colleagues, just to keep you abreast of any new information and updates that we have, new things that are going on at USciences. And we're definitely going to have some news over the next few months as things evolve with our potential merger with St. Joe's. So we'll keep you all up to date on that. And then, like I said before, we are having an event similar to this, but for your students next month. So I'll be reaching out to you. And if you'd be able to pass that along to any interested students, that would be fantastic. But yeah, other than that, I just wanted to say thank you so much. And it's great to see you all again.
Great comment.
Oh yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I agree.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, so thank you so much and have a great rest of your day, everyone. And if you, if anybody wants a copy of the presentation, we can definitely send that to you afterwards.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you.